Hello, thank you so much for joining us today on part one of the Invest Internship series. Today we're going to be discussing why hire an intern. And I'd like to introduce you to today's panel. We have, especially with us today, their expertise. We have Amy Cummings, who is the Senior Territory Manager with Liberty Mutual and Safeco. We have Dr. David Marlette, who is the Managing Director of Brantley Risk and Insurance Center at Appalachian State University. Go Nears. And then we have Bridget Perpich, who is the Talent Development Leader at Knight Insurance in Ohio. Everybody, welcome. It's so good to have everybody here. I appreciate you being here to talk about the amazing opportunities that internships bring. Since everybody is coming from a little bit of a different background, I'm very excited to kind of see what everyone's take is. And I know that we had discussed previously in the past a little bit about your experience and where you come from. But if you, and I know we did not necessarily talk about this, but if you just want to talk a little bit about your experience real briefly, your background. So, David, if you want to go first.
Sure. Thank you, Joe, for allowing me to participate. My name is David Marlette. I've been at Appalachian State for 20 plus years. Started the insurance business as an underwriter for USF&G back in Tampa. And I'm the director for the Brantley Risk Insurance Center. And our main mission is to promote student engagement with the insurance industry. And I also teach insurance courses.
Amazing. Thank you. Amy.
Hi, thank you, Joanna, for having me. My name is Amy Cummings. I started fresh out of high school in the industry as an intern. I will certainly elaborate more on that as we get into our discussion. But after my internship, I became a CSR producer, and then I came over to the carrier side as an underwriter, and I am now a territory manager.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bridget.
Hi, Joanna. Thanks for the opportunity as well. I've been in the industry for 35 years, worked in personal lines, commercial lines, assisted in sales, and now I'm in HR as a talent development leader, and I run the intern program in our agency.
Well, I'm very happy to have you all here. I think internships are an important opportunity that we all should really be talking about, especially to be able to find pathways for individuals into the insurance industry. But I realize that internships really comes with it a lot of, possibly some negative connotations with you say internship and everybody thinks, okay, that's going to take a lot of time. What does that really look like? But how does a solid internship program actually support your organization's big picture goals, like leadership development, culture, or innovation? David, if you want to go first.
Sure. Well, my perspective will be from the university, and we have a fairly large program, and a lot of our students do internships. Quite a few just returned as school started, and a lot of those had jobs. And so I think the benefits when you have a intern, you're going to have a chance to meet with them. It's like a 10-week job interview, see if they fit with your culture, and if it is a good fit, and they like you and you like them, then you can extend a job offer. And the student is pretty happy that they have a job lined up their senior year and you're done for your search that year. The most effective internships, looking at it, when the students talk about what they like, they really like structured expectations early. They want to ideally have multiple interns. If you're a smaller operation and can't do that, a number of agencies are partnering with other like carriers or E&S brokers or regulators, and then you kind of team up. They also like to have some sort of final project that they can share and put on their resume and have something to talk about. And also a lot of fun activities. Try to take them to a baseball game or do something after work or have help them learn about your culture outside of the workplace.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. Amy, you had kind of mentioned something about your past background, so I'll let you elaborate on that.
Yes, absolutely. So my perspective is exactly how I've made a successful career from being an intern. So I see internships as cultural builders and long-term talent pipelines when they're ran with structure and purpose. So as I shared briefly, I interned at an independent agency for 3 years while earning my college degree, working across customer service, policy processing, and sales support. That experience led to a full-time CSR position promotion to a producer, and then later roles on the carrier side in underwriting and field leadership. So today, as a senior territory manager, I'm responsible for multiple storefronts across Washington State, coaching producers, driving local market growth, and rolling out best practices. When interns are given a real responsibility, consistent mentorship, and a clear path forward, agencies can develop leaders, structure culture, and gain fresh perspectives that drive improvement and can be successful for our industry.
That's great. And that's all from you being an intern. And look at where you are now. It's amazing. Bridget, what's your perspective?
From the agency stance, we feel that it creates a pipeline for talent, a talent that is obviously needed in our industry because people just don't wake up and say, I want to be in insurance. And they're not educated about it either. So the internship provides that opportunity for people to learn. The interns, as Amy said, they bring a fresh perspective and energy. They ask questions and share ideas for us to think differently, which ends up sparking creativity and continuous improvement. It's truly an investment in the future of our people and organization. Our interns started out pretty informally, and we revamped it a few years ago. We still ask for feedback so that we can continue to tweak the program. But also sometimes I think internships can have a negative connotation because we've heard enough about them where they are not structured or they're not giving meaningful projects or they're not part of a culture. So we have heard that, we've taken that in. And from the beginning of an interview process, we make sure that they understand that they're just part of our team. They are incorporated into our culture. They are treated as a team member. And we designed our internship with structure to be a win-win. The intern gets a competitive salary, but on the other hand, we are helping them grow as professionals because they really don't come with professional skills as a rule. We give them the education in insurance. They don't have that before they get here. Projects, our last set of interns had 20 projects and everything meant something. They get real hands-on experience and they get tools for the career. And of course, we have some fun. And we found as an agency, it works and our investment has paid off. If all goes the way that we've been discussing, in the past 3 years, our hire ratio is 33%. And in the past 2 years, it's 50%.
Wow. That's impressive. That's really impressive. But what I'm hearing from all of you too is how important that culture is by bringing that intern in and having them experience that within your organization. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is something that we don't really discuss that much is schools. Schools are kind of our superpower, if you will, our secret superpower. But really, we often talk about how internships benefit students and companies, but how do interns help our academic partners?
I'll go ahead and start on that one. That sounds like my lane.
It is.
Yeah. So we love it because when the students come back with their real world experience, experiential learning is very impactful. And so when they're in our classes, they're more motivated, they understand what we're trying to explain. It makes more sense. And also they tell their peers and their friends about their positive experience, which helps us bring in more majors and also helps you have more people to hire. And I guess, one of the more common questions I get from people looking for interns is like, where do I begin? How do I start? And there are different online platforms, but that's more of like a shotgun approach where you might find some people, you might not. And we do have career fairs. Those are great to attend. We'll have, several hundred students participate. There'll be a lot of other employers. And so that's a more focused way. And so most universities will have career fairs. You should come to that. And probably the very best way is there are some agencies that are here on campus all the time. Whenever we need help, they're here. They have good relationships. Maybe, we trust them. They trust us. If we know what type of student they've had success with, and, if we give a recommendation to somebody we trust and we have confidence in that on both sides, we don't want to send a student to an opportunity that's not right for them either. So getting to know the faculty and staff and helping them understand what you're looking for is very valuable.
Yep. Agreed. Bridget, can you do you have a perspective on that as well?
Yes, to David's point, career fair is absolutely awesome to go to, be in person. Our interns actually very much so have appreciated us being at the career fairs and talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
They have introduced us into Handshake, which is something that we did not have until we learned about that. So that has been good too. But the in person is really what we found that they're looking for. When it comes to the benefit that the academic partners have, obviously, if it's the insurance industry and education, we're strengthening that bridge between the two of us. We're able to give schools real world feedback. I have a college I'm working with right now who is struggling in their curriculum. So we, as the insurance industry, took a look at it and we're making suggestions. What they take from it is up to them, but they at least were seeking to understand,
Mm-hmm.
which helps them keep coursework that's relevant, which I think David could attest to. They obviously enhance the school's reputation and it creates a deeper partnership between faculties and the employers. On the agency side, we do love the career fairs. We've also expanded on our website so that they can see what's available, what training it looks like, things like that to help attract. We post on social media. And it's just great to have the interns in the office. I can't explain that to you. And like David said, partnering with others, we partner with a carrier to give them education to start with. And then we also partner with our local Ohio Assurance Agency, which gives the interns field visits to carriers or Department of Insurance. And they also benefit from a scholarship. And we also have involved them in community service so they get to know our city. We don't want them going other places. We want them local.
Yep, exactly. And Amy, I know that you kind of talked about it as well, but I know you have your own experience with that.
Absolutely. I will certainly echo David and Bridget in my experience. So academic partners can absolutely gain the real world relevance, strengthen that community connection, and have a clearer pathway for employment when agencies can engage with students in the classroom or at career fairs or out in the community. I certainly saw this firsthand in high school. I was fortunate enough to have the Invest program as a class in my high school growing up. And I saw this when local agents taught us the semester long class, and we ran mock auto insurance agencies and sold simulated policies to classmates. And by the end of that class, students understood coverage and liabilities in ways that many parents didn't. And several of my classmates went on to pursue careers in insurance. So this kind of hands-on experience makes the curriculum more practical and graduates more marketable in my experience. Agencies have that ability to deepen the value by guest speaking, assisting in projects, offering the paid and structured internships as we're marketing, but really with dedicated mentors and regularly sharing feedback with faculty about some of the skill gaps that might be shown in that internship. But greatly, those partnerships create measurable benefits for schools because it can generate better student outcomes, stronger employer relationships, and more effective talent pipeline for our local communities, as we've been sharing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you all kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'm wondering from a business perspective, what's the one thing that you wish that schools did better to prepare students for the insurance world? And from an education perspective, what's the one thing you wish companies did better? Go ahead, Bridget.
I would like to see more real world examples. So I think some schools are great at preparing students from the book, but not necessarily from the real world. When they offer courses, they do a great job teaching theory, but they don't always see how it's applied for finances or risk or protection play in people's lives and businesses. If schools could bring a little more case study, simulation, guest speakers like Amy was talking about, it really helped them to connect the dots and prepare them for what it actually looks like in real life. From an education perspective, it seems that, again, there's plenty of theory, but again, it's the real world examples, the case studies, the day-to-day industry shadowing, hands-on projects. And I know David would like to also talk about going pro because they don't come in as professionals. I will say that.
Well, I guess I'll follow up on that, Bridget. And thanks. And you're spot on. I mean, um, having professionals come into the classroom and share what they do day to day and the value that they bring to people's lives when they do their job right, it's impactful. And so, yeah, I think most programs, if not all, would be thrilled to have you come in. And, and especially on an ongoing basis, because a lot of the students, they'll learn about an organization, but then they graduate and they're gone. So it's an ongoing, consistent program, which sounds like exactly what you're doing. Um, but to be like consistently visible at the career fairs on campus as guest speakers, and that's really helpful. And the Going Pro program is something that our advisory board came up with. We have a Brantley Center advisory board. It's probably about 25 to 30% agents and quite a few carriers who use agents. We certainly have a strong presence there. But we were hearing kind of what you're saying, Bridget, about the students are great, but they're just not quite ready with some aspects of this. And uh, we came up with a program, we call it Going Pro, and it's to help students go from their junior year into an internship and also from their senior year to their full-time job. Because I think we've all been there. That's like one of the biggest transitions in your life that you're going to go through. And so we'll share some things. We'll have some board members come in, but we also have recent graduates, or like we're about to have it on campus and actually next week, where the students that completed their internships, they tell their peers at our open house like what to expect, like you really do got to be there at that time, and what's the right thing to wear, and how do you address people, and stuff that I think at our stage of life maybe feels kind of common sense, but it's good for them to hear it. And also just self-care. I mean, the physical side of it, they're not used to sitting at a desk all day. Their back's going to hurt. The importance of like going for a walk afterwards, planning your meals, what to eat, don't eat junk food. And so it's a kind of a holistic, comprehensive program that we found very, very valuable.
That is really valuable. In fact, it's so valuable. I wish that that program was available for every college student because those are lessons that we all needed to learn, but nobody taught us that.
Mhm.
So I think that's a great way really to ease students into what's going to look like their next steps are going to look like in a career after they finish school. I know that I've heard from students before say, "Well, wait a minute, I'm working like 8 to 5. I don't have time to make dinner." So something like this is sort of key, right, for them. So that's a great program. Amy, did you have any follow-up on that?
I would again just echo what Bridget and David shared. I think from my story of my invest experience, we can look at it from all angles, from an education, from a business, and from a career side. I think those real life examples and processes really help. Like we had a Dress for Success Day. We also were able to have alumni go back and talk to the students that were in the course to kind of say, what does a day in the life look like as a professional? Time management skills, interview skills, and all of that. And, that's not your science and math that's in a standard education. So if we can have that added in, I think that'll be a major benefit for our next workforce.
Well, when we're talking about skills, that's a perfect segue because, we can all have a resume and we all can say, well, I can do this, that, and the other. But really, what skills do employers want? And how do we help interns kind of develop these skills? Bridget, if you want to go first.
Communication, obviously. Some are too maybe tech-minded and maybe not as personable. So helping them bring that out for it could be like interviews, like Amy said, could be just simple communication with clients. Being able to talk with others and not be afraid, network, respect, focus, general interests. We also do time management, Amy, as one of our skills that we provide to our interns as a life skill, not as a intern skill. Professional, like David touched on, all things like that. But our big thing is adding to our culture. We don't want you just to fit in. We want you to add to our culture. And when you talk about hiring an intern, more long term, the great thing about this is your ability to bring them on much quicker from an onboarding training stance, because you already know what you've given them. You already know what they know. You kind of just pick up and go from there. So that part does save on the agency side. And would you mind if I shared just a quick story about one of our interns?
No, please go ahead.
We had an intern 2 years ago. He came in with an interest in sales. So when we built our internship, we focused it for sales for him. So one of the things that he did is we did a call program for cyber on current clients, which are warmer than cold calls, and having them try and sell cyber as far as just getting the introduction. And I'm going to tell you the excitement that went with that was insane. We had a group chat. I got a yes, like, and the excitement was just there. Well, it was just a few weeks down the road, and we start hearing our interns saying, well, that's not what we do. We do it. And we're like, all right. So
Okay.
then we taught him LinkedIn, and he was a little shyer to that. By the time he was done with his internship, he had over 500 contacts because he kept working it. Then
Wow.
he's in his senior year and he decides to add on insurance classes in his final year, ends up getting his PNC license. We made the offer to him, and he is now currently working in our sales department. He started about 3 months ago. We had him work a business plan, had him pick a niche, and had him start setting goals and then start working them forward. To date, and again, we're only about 3 months in, so he's still green, but he's already sold a couple accounts, has some more in the pipeline, and is currently quoting some. One of the accounts he's quoting is 90,000 in premium, which is a real nice start for a green producer.
That's fantastic. Okay, you'll have to share his name later so I can connect with him on LinkedIn.
Okay, if he hasn't already
That is,
requested you.
yeah, that is definitely an intern success story. That's amazing. Wow. David, what are your thoughts on that? What skills?
Um, Kind of piggybacking on Bridget's, I think it's genuine interest. And I'll also share a story. This morning, I had a young man stop by my office and he just finished his internship and he wanted to kind of talk through it and get advice for the upcoming year. And he's a first generation student,
Mm,
did an internship in Chicago. And he's just kind of struggling. He goes, like this internship, they rotated me through these different types of jobs. I was with agents, I was with brokers and underwriters, and also they had me working in different lines of insurance. And I don't know, like I'd really like working as an agent, but I also think I'd really like underwriting. And then property insurance was really interesting. And then we looked at liability, and I really like cyber too. And I want to learn more about inland marine. And he was just really kind of struggling what he wanted to do, and it was just a great internship, and they really turned the light on.
that's great. That's amazing. It's important, I think, that students or interns, they find that mentor, especially within the organization. Like that's a key right there, because that really does, to your point, like turn the light on and say, hey, I can maybe go down this pathway, or I didn't realize that this was an opportunity. Amy, what are your thoughts on it?
So I believe that the most important skill is learnability. A real willingness and ability to pick up on new things quickly, right? And in the industry, that's what matters because products, systems, regulations, everything's changing almost daily. Two closely linked behavioral skills within that would be like being comfortable with change and being comfortable talking to strangers. So, right, what Bridget was explaining there. The first lets someone adapt when the processes and tools shift. And then the second is crucial for the prospecting, the customer service, building partnerships across agencies and carriers. We're always creating that relationship. I think practical ways to build and evaluate these skills would be to give interns small ownership projects or large ownership projects, as we saw with Bridget, that require learning and new tool or process, using role plays or warm call exercises to build confidence with unfamiliar people, and then rotate them through like customer facing and back office roles to kind of show them everything that's out there, to David's point with his example. So when hiring, I would look for behavioral evidence of learnability and social confidence. Examples of self-directed growth, situational answers, or demonstrated curiosity, rather than prioritizing a perfect transcript.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's an excellent point. Well, you all have very good different, and it's very similar, but different perspectives, right, as to where you're coming from and what to be looking for. But what are your final thoughts on how and why would you hire an intern? Bridget, I'll let you go first.
I'm going to start with it creates an awareness in the industry that it's not just sales and service, right? And
Yes.
you're building a win-win situation. Hiring an intern is a win-win, and I would encourage any agency to at least explore the opportunity of creating an internship. For the student, it's a chance to see how their classroom plays out in real world, what the real world looks like. For the business side of it, agency side, carrier side, we get the fresh perspective, we get new energy, we get some great ideas that we may not have thought of otherwise. It's truly an investment, but as I've stated earlier, it's an investment that pays. And we're helping shape the next generation of insurance professional and building that pipeline for future talent.
That's exactly right. Amy.
So to wrap it up, I believe internship, it's success for everyone. That's how I think about internships. When agencies invest in structured, meaningful internships, students get a real career start, and companies get a pipeline of trained, motivated talent. I began as the intern. I earned my producer license. I moved into underwriting, and now I manage a territory of agencies across Washington State. So when agencies treat interns as future teammates, granting ownership, mentorship, and clear progression, the benefits ripple throughout leadership, cultural, and innovation across the industry as a whole.
100%.
Yeah, those are both great responses. I don't have a whole lot to add other than echo what they said, but it is an opportunity to not only help students with their education, but also to secure a talent pipeline. And I have a number of independent agencies that come here year in, year out. And some years, Bridget, I think you said you hit 50% last year. The good ones, they can hit that, but there's going to be some misses. And again, there's value in that too, because that student still learn something, and you didn't hire somebody that maybe wasn't a good fit for a full-time position.
Mm-hmm.
But more times than not, it's going to work out, and they're going to tell their friends, and more people know about it next year, and it'll get a little easier each year. And you can secure a talent pipeline that really has no end. Just keep coming to campus.
That's great. So what I'm hearing is that internships are important and that we should be investing in them. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate the three of you investing your time today to talk about the importance of internships and why to hire an intern. Keep doing all the good work out there. Thank you so much for being here today. And for everyone else on this call that is watching this, stay tuned for our second part, which will be coming in October. Take care. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.